The oppression of the English. 1066. William and his army invaded the English homeland, killing 150,000 people in the harrying of the north. 3/4 of the English population was wiped out. But murder was not the only crime they committed. The other was of cultural genocide, which the Norman Celtic British state continues to this day. As William was crowned king, he made it his duty to oppress the English out of existence, so that they would consider themselves a form of Norman. He replaced the flag of the English, the white dragon, with the lion banner, later to become the 3 lions which we see every time the national football team and cricket team play. The patron saint of England, St Edmund the Martyr, was replaced by St George, who was possibly a Roman, possibly a Turk, but the Normans didn't care as long as he erased the memory of St Edmund from English hearts and minds. They weren't going to let an English king be a hero to the English, were they? The language. The Erdish was one of the most complete languages of the time, and if it had been given time to develop, then we could today be able to communicate with our ancestral kin in Denmark, Germany and Friesland. So desperate was he to banish the English identity, that the fighting man banner that was carried every time the English went to war, which was never dropped until the last man fell, was sent to Rome to be looked after by the Pope, where it probably still is today. He thought that without the banner, any English army would feel incomplete and wouldn't rise against him. Names. I've ever wondered why the Scottish, Welsh and Irish have native names, and yet the English make do with biblical and Celtic names. If everybody had a Norman name, then they wouldn't feel English. So William decided not to do business with English-named people. This killed off the Anglo-Saxon naming system. English freedom fighters have been erased from the history books, and quoting Braveheart, history is written by the winners. According to our history books, English uprising stopped after Herod was killed, but it really lasted over 300 years after Hereward's death. The Normans also made all Anglo-Saxon royalty marry into Norman families, so there can never be a pure-blood English king or queen again. So who are the English? The most common lies I hear from the government or Celtic nationalists is that England is a mongrel nation. Well, that would suit all involved down to the ground except the English. The English peoples are a group of united Germanic tribes, the Saxons of Lower Saxony, the Jutes of Jutland, the Frisians of Friesland, and the Angles of Angeln, from which we get our name. There is no such thing as an English Roman, Norman, or Celt. If there was, then yes, the English would be a mongrel race, but to be English, you have to be, by definition, a descendant of those Germanic tribes. English nationalism. I am a nationalist, Alex Salmond is a nationalist, the only difference being that if I stand up for my country, then I'm a racist, whereas Alex Salmond is Scottish, so any nationalism is justified. If I say the exact words that the SNP leader uses, but substitute Scotland for England, then the Norman Celtic government will ring up their pals in the media to make sure I am portrayed badly to my own people. Why is Scotland getting a vote at independence while English nationalists don't get a choice? Why are the people of our nation made to feel guilty about things like the Irish famine or the Highland clearances? Don't worry about them, we had no say or do in that. In fact, the same happened to us in the years following the invasion. Obviously part of the plan of the British to keep the English in line is to make them feel guilty, because that takes the blame away from the British state which caused the problem. Scotland, you have a chance to vote for independence, a chance English folk never got, so bloody well take it. It's time to rise, kinfolk.